Alright, what is going on, guys? It's Connor Branding, or Connor here today, bringing you guys a brand new video. Now today, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to design a simple Twitter header in Photoshop. Alright guys, now the first thing you're going to want to do is pull up your browser, Google Chrome, Internet Explorer, whatever it is, and just search up wallpaperswide.com. Wide.com. Okay. Now here it's going to bring you to this site where there's a bunch of high-res HD images. So you're just going to find an image that you'd like to use for your banner. We're just going to scroll through real quick, find something that we want to use. So I'm going to use this right here. I like this mountain, it looks nice. Now we're just going to download that in the highest res form. And then we're going to drag this into Photoshop up in this little gray bar up here, release it, and then it's going to open up and give us our image. So next what we're going to do is open up a new document, file, new, and then create a document for a 1500 width by 500 height, and we're going to make the resolution 300, and then create. And then this is going to give us the size for our Twitter header. And I'm gonna bring this pack over here. We're gonna be using this for a couple assets that we want to include into the banner. So we're gonna go to our image tab, click on the image, drag it over, and release it into our document. Now click Control A and center by clicking these two, and then that's gonna center our image. Now I'm gonna drag it down a little bit, just drag it to where I guess you want the image to be cut off. I personally want to see the whole mountain, so I'm going to leave it about right here. Okay, now that we got our image placed, we're going to start adding a little bit of lighting after we name this. So create a new layer, click on your brush tool, you're going to come up here, make sure that you're on a 0 hardness, and make the brush around 500. And then we're going to click here and add a black brush, and whoops. That's basically just going to give us a black brush so we can kind of darken out the parts that we don't want so overexposed. So I want most of the attention on the mountain and the center part, so I'm just gonna drag here and get the sky pretty black. Then we're gonna come over and click here to change our layer style, and I'm gonna change this to soft light. You guys can see that darkens it a little bit, and then I'm just gonna drag down the opacity to about 73. Now we're going to create another layer, go back to our brush and change it from black to white, and then scroll out a little bit, size up your brush by just clicking Alt and then right clicking and dragging, and then click above towards the middle, give it 2 clicks. That looks pretty good. Now we're going to change this layer to screen. I'm just going to name these black lighting and white lighting. Now the main color theme I'm going to use, since most of this image is kind of like a purple tone, we're going to create another layer, call it purple lighting, and then I'm going to go back to my brush, click here, and I'm going to select purple around there. That looks pretty good. Now we're going to size this brush down, go towards the top of the document, and just hold shift, click, and drag. Hold shift, click, and drag, and do that for all of the edges. And you guys can see I'm going to do it one more time on the top. It's going to give you this nice little inside glow if we click the layer on and off. Then we're going to turn this to screen as well and turn that down a little bit to about 70%. Now I'm going to go over to the pack, and I'm also going to be including all of the assets and I guess smoke, particles, whatever. Anything I use for this banner, I'm going to be including in a separate PSD link in the description below. You guys can go download it and get all of these for yourself as well. So I'm going to go first into brushes, click through, just find a brush that I think is going to fit this. So we're going to go for something a little grungy. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm going to use this just because it's kind of like a glitch effect. Now I'm going to drag this around here and then just Control J, and I'm going to duplicate it until I get it basically covering up the entire banner. So keep controlling J, and then That looks good. So now I'm just gonna click on the top layer, hold shift, click on the bottom layer, click Control E to merge all those layers, and then I'm gonna put this on, let's put it on overlay, and we're gonna drag it below our lighting, and I'm gonna decrease this a little bit to about 15%. And now I'm gonna actually delete the part that is on the mountain. So I'm gonna go back, put my eraser on a 0 hardness, and then just start clicking and erasing these little parts. I'm gonna erase it for everything down here. Actually, I want it on the water. So just delete the parts where you don't want it. Size up the brush, just make sure we got everything. Okay, now you can see it's mainly just on the upper part right here. That way it's not affecting our main mountain. We're gonna go back into the pack, and I'm gonna add some particles. And like I said, guys, this is a simple banner tutorial, so there's not gonna be many layers to it. But leave some video ideas in the description as well on some other tutorials y'all would like to see me do, and I'll be sure to do those. I definitely want to do some more in-depth design tutorials for people that are more experienced in the program, but I also want to make videos like this for people that are just starting and just want to learn more about the program and how it works. So I drag my particles in. I'm going to click Control T, click Alt, and drag this, and just size it up so it covers my whole document. Now you can see, add those particles, and I'm gonna leave them below the lighting, below our brush layer. I'm gonna layer this, or name this. There we go. Now go back to the pack. Let's see, I wanna add some smoke towards the water. I think I'm gonna use that one. Yeah. So I'm just gonna click, drag this over. And then, like I said, I want some smoke coming up from the water, so I'm just going to drag this down and duplicate it just as we did to the brush, and just make sure it covers the whole water here. Okay, now click Control 0 just to bring you out and put the document in a full view so you can see the whole thing. Again, select the top layer, hold shift, click the bottom layer, Control E. It's going to merge all these, and you guys can see it, put it back to black for the background here. Just got to go back and change that layer style back to screen. Now you can see, rename this smoke, whoops. You guys can see, now we got some smoke down the water. So I'm just going to decrease the opacity to about 75. That looks pretty good. Now I'm going to drag this below all of our lighting. Go back into the pack. And what else do we want to add? I think that's pretty good. Now I'm just going to start editing the actual background. So I'm going to click on the background layer, Control J to duplicate it. Now this is going to be our second one. Now I'm going to go Filter, Blur, Radio Blur, and then this little panel is going to pop up. We're going to put it on Zoom and Best and keep it around, I'm going to put it to 15. Now you can see it kind of blurs our whole document here. So what I'm going to do is click on the blurred layer, go to our eraser tool, leave the hardness on 0 again, and then size this down and just start erasing the mountain parts. Because I don't want the blur on those, I just want it on the skyline and maybe the water. So we're just going to erase this. Let's see our person again. Get that off the clouds too. There we go. Now you can see if we turn it on and off, and erase this part. Gives our background a little bit of a blur. And then we're going to go back into our pack. I'm going to add some sparks along the edges of the banner. I'm going to use these. I'm just going to duplicate them, put them where I think they look good. So I just want to cover the outer edges a little bit. Whoops. And then again, select the top layer, shift, click the bottom one, put it back to screen. And then I'm going to put all this below our lighting and turn down the opacity. Actually, I'm going to leave this to 100. I like how this looks. And then we're going to go back to the pack, click that off. I'm going to add another brush, which is similar to the original one we used. This one, click it over, and then I want to put this along the whole banner as well, so I'm just going to keep duplicating this until it kind of fills up the whole banner. Now, I'm going to merge all these so that way I can duplicate them and move them faster. There we go, merge all those, and now I'm going to turn this on. I don't think I want it on overlay. I'm going to put it on normal, and then right click, go to blending options, and I'm going to change the color of these to the somewhat next to the purple that we had before. And then right click, rasterize layer style, and then put this on soft light, and just decrease the opacity a bit. Okay, now I'm going to go over it with my eraser. I'm going to change the opacity to about 50%, and then click over in the skyline because I don't want that as harsh. Same there. There we go. Now you can see it adds a little more texture to the back. And I think that's going to be it for the pack. There's not much else that I want to add. So I'm going to go back, and this is kind of our background for the banner. Now I'm going to add in my logo here, so just File, Place Embedded. I gotta go find my logo. There we go. Now I'm gonna center that, and I'm going to size that down to about here. Now that it's in the middle, I'm gonna right click blending options, and I'm gonna change the color of this to the purple that we had. Right click, rasterize layer style. Now we got our logo there, and I'm going to duplicate our logo, drag this layer below our original. I'm going to click Control U, drag our lightness all the way to black, and then go up here to Filter, Blur, and Box Blur. Now this is what this is going to do is give you a more professional drop shadow and allow you to control it a little more. So I'm going to drag it to about 26, and then select this and put it on soft light. You guys can see here, adds a bit of a drop shadow. I'm going to decrease the opacity to about 85%, and then I'm going to control click both of our logo layers, Control G to group them, and then just rename that logo. And then I'm going to drag these below all of our lighting, smoke, particles, all of that. Now you can see we got the logo in the middle. I'm going to open this back up, click our original logo, the purple one, click Control and click on the little thumbnail here to select the pixels and the selection around the logo. Go up here to Select, Modify, Expand. We're going to expand this now. Go back. I'm going to expand it maybe 5 pixels. Yeah, that looks good. Now I'm going to come down to our background layer here. Click M on my keyboard, right click, and then layer via copy. What this is going to do is give you, here I'll bring it up here, it's just going to copy that part of the background that the logo is, so you guys can see it just copies that. So then I'm going to drag this back down to the background layer and click Control U and then bring the saturation to 0. What that's going to do, if you zoom in, it's just going to give a little highlight around your logo and make the background in that part black and white. Just add a little more contrast and attention to the logo. I'm going to go back to my black lighting now that I'm seeing this. I'm going to turn the opacity up on this a bit. I'm actually going to duplicate that and bring it down to about 20%. Just to add a little more darkness to the background here. And by the way, guys, I haven't planned this. I haven't made this header before, so I'm kind of just making it as I go and doing what I think looks good, just for a simple banner. So bear with me here, but I'm gonna drag this layer actually into our logo group, That way it's all together. And leave that there. What do I want to do? Definitely want to add some social medias to the banner. So what I'm going to do next is click M on my keyboard and create a new layer, and then just drag here. And basically this is just going to be a divider between our logo here, and then we're going to put our social media links here. So color, we're going to put that to the purple we had. V, Control A to center it. And then you see that. I'm going to zoom in and just make this a little bit shorter and wider. There we go. Now center that again. Drag it more towards the logo. Now you can see it creates a little space where we can add our social medias over here. I'm going to do the same thing to the divider and the social medias as I did to the logo with the black and white outline. So again, just control, click on the thumbnail, and then select, modify, expand 5 pixels. And we're going, actually, let's wait to do that because I'm going to end up centering the logo and social media better. So we're going to go back into our logo layer and delete that one black and white, and we'll go back and add it again later. So this is going to be our divider. We're going to drag that down by our logo layer so we don't lose it, and then go back over to the pack, and we're going to go on to the icons, open this, and I'm going to add, since it's for Twitter, I'm going to add my YouTube and my Instagram to it. So I'm going to drag these back over into our header document, right click, I'm going to get rid of the layer styles on those. Now I'm going to center these on each other, that way I can decrease the size perfectly. Just alt click and drag in, it's going to resize them. And then I'm going to drag Instagram below YouTube, Control J, or Control click, and then Control G to merge, or to group them together, and then Control, okay. So that's looking good. I'm gonna size up the YouTube a little bit. It just doesn't look the same size as the Instagram. That's better. Perfect. So I'm gonna click on this, blending options, and I'm gonna change it to the purple, and then all we have to do is right click that layer, copy layer style, go to our YouTube one, right click, paste that, and then it's gonna give us the purple there. Now I'm gonna go click T for the text tool, click here, I'm gonna size this down a bit, and then I'm gonna type my social media link. So I'm gonna go / Connor branding, and now I'm gonna change this part of the text to white just so you can tell that Connor is separate from branding. And then I'm just gonna center that with the icon, Control J, duplicate that, and since it's the same link for both, I'm just gonna duplicate it and drag it down. Now we can rename this social media. You can see that we can drag it separate now. And then I'm just gonna make sure, you can see here when you're dragging the little 0.80 here, you'll see it right here when I drag, just to make sure that your spacing between the logo divider and the divider in the social media is equal. And then open that, that's good. Perfect. So now what we're gonna do is click both of these layers and Control G, and then we're just gonna rename this info, and then Control J to duplicate it, drag it below, Control E to merge all of the layers, so that way we can just drag it all in one. Actually, our divider got cut out of there, so we're going to Control Z, get back there, drag our divider in there, and then again Control J, drag it below, Control E to merge it, and then click here, and then it's going to select all of our items here. So that way we can go select, modify, expand. I'm going to wait to do this because we still haven't centered it. So I'm going to right click on the info, blending options, drop shadow. I'm going to increase the opacity just so we can see this better, and then lower that a little bit, lower the distance to about 3, increase the size to about 4, and then we're just going to reduce the opacity on that to about 46, and then Control 0 to view the whole document, and then Control click, and then Control G, Control A, and then we're just going to center all that info right there. I'm actually going to size up the social media info here. So just Control T, size that up to about here. Whoops. What? There we go. And then shut all these groups. Duplicate it again. Control E. Actually, go back. Open this up. We're going to open up the duplicate, right click on info, and then clear the layer style. Just so that way, when we merge it, we don't get the drop shadow with it. I did because I put my logo on a separate one, a separate drop shadow. So just, actually that's the color. Open this, I remember now. Delete that so then we don't have the drop shadow on it. Merge all this and drag it below, and then Control, click on the little thumbnail, select, modify, expand. We're going to expand it, I want to expand it 10 pixels. Yeah, that looks good. And then again, click your background layer, click M on your keyboard, right click, layer via copy, and then we can actually delete this layer here. Click here, and then Control U, and drag the saturation down. I'm also going to decrease the brightness on it to about -22. Okay. Now you guys can see we get that little highlight to highlight our text and whatnot. I'm actually going to select on this layer and just delete the part for the divider because I don't think that needs an outline on it. Now what we're going to do is Control J, copy this layer, move it down, and then right click, blending options. We're going to click color overlay, make sure it's that purple color we were using, right click, rasterize layer style, and then filter, blur, box blur, and that's going to give us this little purple outer glow here. Put it to about 15, and then put the put the blending mode on screen and drag down the opacity to about 75. Okay, so that's going to be about it for all of the layers that are going into the banner. Like I said, it's just a simple banner, nothing complex. So now what we're going to do is add our color correction to it to top off the colors a little bit and make it pop more. So I'm going to add, since when I'm looking at my banner, the social media and logo doesn't pop out too much, especially the social media here. So I'm going to go below our info layer, create a new layer, click B for the brush tool, make this black, and then I'm just going to go around and paint a little bit, some black here, and then change the blending mode to soft light, and that's just going to, actually going to leave that on 100. That way it just darkens it up a little. I'll put it at about 75%. So that's looking good. I think that's going to be all for the banner. Now we're going to add the color correction. So select the top layer, make sure this is unlocked. Select the top layer, shift, click the bottom layer, Control G to group all of your layers here, Control J to copy this, and then we're just going to turn this layer off, Control E to merge all of these. So then we still have the group here if we want to go back and edit something in the banner, but this is going to be the layer with our color correction. So we're going to click M on our keyboard, select the whole document, right click, layer via cut, and then what this is going to do, if we turn this layer off, if you drag this around, it's all this excess that isn't into the document, so we're just going to delete all that and go back, so then you can see if we drag this around, it's just the banner, nothing else. And we're going to go up to filter, camera raw filter, and that. Now we're going to make a little bit of a color correction to amplify the colors in here and the contrast. So since a lot of this banner is purple, a good color with purple is blue, so I'm just going to drag this over, give it a little blue tint to about -12, and then increase the pink to about 18. Actually, yeah, we'll put that on 20. And we're going to increase the contrast to about 18. Increase the clarity to about 20. And now we're going to click the tone curve panel here. It's going to bring up this whole thing. A lot of you are probably going to be on parametric if you've never used Camera Raw filter before. So just click on point, and then we're going to come here, get it as perfect as you can in the middle of these lines here. Click and then drag up a little bit, and then come down to this one and click and drag down a little bit. Perfect. And now detail, we're going to increase the sharpening to about 20. And then for me, I think this banner is going to look really nice with some grain effect on it. So I'm just going to increase the grain to about 20. And then click OK. And then that's going to give you your final banner with the color correction. You can see if we turn this on and then turn off our banner layer, that's kind of what the difference with the color correction is. Alright guys, so that's going to be the banner tutorial. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, be sure to drop a like, subscribe, turn post notifications on to be notified every time that I do upload a new video. If you guys have any video suggestions, be sure to drop them down in the comment section below. And if this video does hit 10 likes, I will release the PSD to this banner in the description, so you guys don't even have to make the whole thing. You guys can just go in and edit the info and then put the color correction on. So like I said, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And yeah, if you guys have any questions or anything, just drop them in the comment section below, and I'll be sure to help you guys if you have any problems. Again, this has been Connor Branding, or Connor, and I'm out. Peace.